Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look!
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
It's Dr. Homebrew, everybody. I think we should keep this rejoinder music going here a little bit. This little intro music. A little rock and roll. Woo! Woo! All right, that's enough of that. You know, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm getting kind of a little too old for this kind of music. I recently turned 36.
You're not going to get a whole lot of sympathy from the rest of the room here for that, JP.
I've noticed you have a very eclectic taste in music. Sometimes we come in, you're playing, Hall & Oates, which is lovely. Other times it's like some raunchy old classic heavy metal.
Yeah.
And then tonight They Might Be Giants. Just,
and the beard's getting great too.
Crank and Flood, and I love it, man. That's great.
Yeah, I'm a weird person.
As long as you're proud of it.
I don't know that I am. I have to figure it out.
You are. It's what you're all about.
Is it? I don't know if it should be all about it.
So you're about being a normal person? Tell me about your happy childhood like all the others. Yeah?
You're absolutely correct.
Okay.
You're absolutely correct.
Let's get this shit out of the way.
All right. I really love my mom. She was, I don't know. How's everybody doing tonight? It is Dr. Homebrew, of course, as always, every third Thursday, or at least we try to be on point with that. We are here to record 2 brand new live shows. They're live to the 8 people listening. To most of you, this is going to be a podcast. And I do want to say thank you very much to everybody who's been downloading the shows. We are climbing up the BN charts, so to speak. We are slowly but surely overtaking every other podcast on this friggin' radio station. And it's because of you guys. So thanks very much for tuning in and putting up with weird ramblings such as me getting old.
Right. And we like climbing. Yeah.
Climbing's fun. It's like, good exercise, right?
Yeah, it's like being a monkey on crack. You're going up fast.
That's right. And you come down even faster.
That's right.
Anyway, we have a good show lined up for you tonight, but before we get too far into what's happening today, I do want to thank, in addition to you guys, I want to thank our sponsors. Of course, the beautiful and ever-popular 5 Star Chemicals. You can go to 5starchemicals.com. You can ask for them at your local homebrew supply store. And what are 5 Star Chemicals? They are the PBWs and the Star Sands of the world. They enable you to make better beer. Anybody who ever brings a beer into me and there's some issue, it's always because they're either using that kind of, one-step cleaner or the thing where you just mix with water and it cleans and sanitizes at the same time, or they don't even know. My friend recently, he has some friends opening up a commercial brewery, a nano brewery. These nano breweries are like the in thing now. And up in the Pacific Northwest somewhere. And he's like, look, we're not making good beer. Can you come up and help us? And my friend works in the industry. He's a commercial brewer. And he goes, yeah, sure. Why not? I'll fly up there. So he goes up there and he tastes the beer and he's like, yeah, it's not very good. Tell me about your cleaning regimen. Well, we clean real well. We run PBW through everything. He goes, okay, cool. And then what do you do? He goes, and then we rinse it out. He goes, no, okay, you don't have to, but, and then what do you do? Oh, then we transfer the beer into the tanks. He's like, well, that's not exactly. So they weren't sanitizing anything at all. So it's important to do both. You can't really do both effectively, all in all-encompassing chemicals. So go to 5starchemicals.com, check it out. They do have a list of things that you can kind of look at and make sure that you're hitting all these little benchmarks for sanitary purposes, for sanitary conditions and clean conditions in your brewery, which are very important. Go check them out. They're on Facebook, too. Love them. They are your best friend. We also have Brew Toad. If you're interested in learning about recipe formulation and you want a website that kind of does everything for you in a very easy-to-use format, brewtoad.com is for you. You can go on, make an account. It's totally free. I think they have over 43,000 brewers on there now. It's insane. Everyone has their recipes logged in. You can go search for recipes if you're looking for a weird kind of style to brew. head on over to brewtoad.com, check them out. Also, if you are interested in looking at the recipes that you find on the show tonight, brewtoad.com/Dr. Homebrew. They have actually archived not only all the audio, but they have the BJCP score sheets that the guys fill out. They have the recipes linked from the homebrewers themselves. So everything's in there. You can go and learn about all these kind of styles we're talking about and what goes into making a beer that's pretty good. And we have, in general, had really good beers on the show. So if you're trying to hit one of those weird styles, or even, just a straight-up American brown, I think, one we have here, you can check out this recipe on brewtoad.com/Dr. Homebrew, and we'll get into that too. But Dr. Homebrew is sponsored by Brewtoad and 5 Star Chemicals. They're our favorite people in the world tonight. Speaking of tonight, we have a couple. What beers do we have, guys? We have a chocolate. Where'd my notes go here, dude?
Wood-aged chocolate robust porter.
There you go. Wood-aged chocolate robust porter, and the other is an American brown ale. And these are brewed by Eric and Josh, and we'll get Eric on the line shortly, right after this break. Want to introduce you to Brian and Lee, my co-hosts, the judges, the doctor in Dr. Homebrew, if you will. I'm surprised you guys survived the windy jaunt across the Bay Area to come into the studio tonight.
It was like, flying monkeys to get here. There were like tumbleweeds flying across the freeway and all kinds of stuff, man.
I
Road
just
closures.
hoisted the spinnaker up in the little car and made double time.
Yeah, I like the little tumbleweeds. I was telling Lee earlier, it makes me feel like I'm in one of those car commercials where, you're the mom and you're driving home through this wooded area and suddenly there's a rock slide and you have to swerve because you have precious cargo in the car. And it made it real fun.
Driver's ed situation.
You're the mom driving home in the car.
I'm the mom driving home in the car.
JP fantasizes about being a mom.
Okay. I do. Well, who doesn't?
Moms
really?
are great.
They are, except when they look like me. I mean, I'm getting too old to bear children. It's 36 now, guys.
Are you having that change?
I'm getting these flashes. Well, you guys are all bundled up, and I'm in a T-shirt here, and it's terrible.
Well, I mean, it's like you were going to be bearing children at 26.
Man, I don't know. I'm getting to that age too, where it's like, everyone around me is starting to get engaged and married, and some of my friends are having kids, or even younger than me, and I'm going, what is going on? Why?
Welcome to the new decade. It's where we get to deny middle age for the next 10, 15 years.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Yes.
Why is that?
That's where you are now. Why is that?
Yeah.
Well,
why are we doing
it's better than just turning decrepit at 35, packing it in.
I guess. I've been trying to do that since I'm 33, 32. Just
all
pack
a matter
it in.
of taste.
I'm done.
Go for it.
I can't deal with it.
Then just do it.
It is weird getting older because you kind of, I don't know, start caring a little bit more about where you come from and your family history and stuff like that. And my grandmother recently just turned 90, and she was telling me for the billionth time how she met my grandfather. But what I didn't know is they knew each other for a month before they got married, and she was engaged to another man. So they met. She left this dude and got married to my grandfather within a month, and they were together for like 47 years till he kicked the bucket. That's, I don't know. That's crazy.
Sometimes impulsive choices are the best ones.
Yeah, I suppose.
Don't second guess yourself.
She's getting that Navy pension, so she's fine. Whatever.
A month from now, you could be happily married, JP. And just
could be.
That's right. To someone you don't even know right now. Of course, I can't really say that. I don't want to get in too much trouble.
No, please, yeah.
We
don't want to get your avenging angel on my trail here.
Don't bring us water anymore.
Well, I think
Darn it.
Working in downtown Martinez, she's pretty safe with me meeting anybody up to her caliber.
Good point.
All right, well, let's take a break, and we're going to get Eric on the line, and we're going to drink his beer, and we're going to learn all about the Oak Age Robust Porter back after this.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5 Star Chemicals. 5 Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5 Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5 Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, and SanaClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
What does craft beer mean to you? Is it a delicious way to support your town's local brewer? Or perhaps it's the perfect beverage to pair with those delicious meals at your favorite restaurant and at home. Regardless of whether you're thinking of pints or pairings, pilsners or porters, craftbeer.com is the site where craft beer lovers come together to learn and share. Craftbeer.com is brought to you by the Brewers Association and celebrates the best of American craft beer and its brewers. Craftbeer.com is the best place to find craft beer events, recipes, great feature stories, the most up-to-date brewery listings, and resources for your next beer tasting or dinner, like style guidelines, pairing mats, and charts. Get the inside scoop on new beer releases and special events from today's craft beer insiders, and chime in to share your own knowledge, perfect pairings, road trips, recipes, and more. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer.
Come along now. It's time for your medication.
Get a little bit of that new rejoinder action. I like that one. I kind of want to hear it again.
I'll play it later. Let's return to Sunday morning.
See if we can do it right now. Rejoinder, where is it? Here it is.
Perfect.
Right here.
Don't crash the system.
Can't get any worse than it is now.
Come along now. It's time for your medication.
Oh, I love Push. He's a genius. Anyway, we should have Eric on the line. Cross your Skype fingers. Eric, are you there? Eric?
Hey!
Hey! Were you messing with me right there, or did you really not hear me?
I was fucking with you.
You dick.
He's in Australia.
Man, you almost sent me into a fit because the friggin' video thing wasn't working very well, and so I had to reboot that, and I was gonna slam my head against the wall.
I'm coming over good without a external mic.
Yeah, you sound beautiful, my friend.
Oh, yeah, you actually sound like a real human.
Congratulations.
Echo and everything. It's pretty cool.
You knew it would happen one day, and you finally made it here. So you sent us this oak-aged robust porter,
here it is.
Aged in wood. Have you done anything like this before?
I have. That's actually one of the only beers that I've brewed consistently about 3 or 4 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All my other beers always, you just always keep mixing it up. That's kind of the one that I've stayed true to whenever I brewed a porter.
Okay. And how have you tweaked it out over the batches, or you haven't? You've just literally just brewed it the same way.
Yeah.
Some minor differences in just the type of chocolate malts I use, but this recipe was actually based off of the good old Denny Kahn's chocolate oak aged porter.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you're ready for it.
Ready for it.
How long have you been homebrewing, man?
Just about 4 years.
Okay. And was this all grain, I imagine?
It is all grain.
All right. Well, let's break one of these things open, guys.
There you go.
There you go.
There we go.
And of course, for some reason, the video's not working. Because why would it?
Oh, here I've got a glass going here.
Okay.
Save a clean glass. Thank you.
And so the oak on this beer was, of course, American medium toast oak.
Okay. Oak cubes?
I Unfortunately, I did not have cubes at the time I was brewing this beer, so it was chips. And I did a small bourbon soak. So,
okay.
So, whatever bourbon barrel aged porter.
What bourbon did you use?
Knob Creek.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It smells great. I haven't tasted it yet, but that's not me dodging the beer. Oh, it smells really good. Let's move on.
Okay.
That smells wonderful. Brian, why don't you take us down the road here?
So this is a category 22C, and declared style being the robust porter. It does present itself nicely as a robust porter, right from the aroma. It has that clean, lightly roasty, rich malt character up front. That's the first thing you smell, and then almost a lightly musty kind of wood aging character, and it's got kind of a rustic feel to it in a way, as far as the wood aging is not intense and biting like a kind of a stone wood aging, instead of the stone oak arrogant bastard or something like that. It's just like a classic kind of wood aged character there, followed by just a little bit of chocolate, and only a hint of any hops, kind of a low kind of earthy floral thing in the background. Fruity esters are in check and just kind of generally fruity there. Nice looking beer, has a dark brown color. Poured a medium tan head that stuck around pretty nicely, and tightly packed bubbles kind of clinging in the glass. And in the flavor, it's again rich and roasty up front. There was some alcohol apparent in there, but it was really smooth. And the bitterness is medium low, pretty much in check for the style. Hops low in check, kind of nearly absent, but a little floral thing in there. It's just balanced firmly to the malt, and then underneath that you get the taste of some vanillins from the wood that comes through nicely. Smooth and clean, kind of a warm nuttiness in there. It's not harsh at all. It's just a really clean ale ferment. A little bit of booze in there I was picking up too, and so I was going to ask about that. There's just a little bit of that boozy note, but it's not heavy at all. It's just in balance with everything else, which I really like. The body's kind of medium full, so it's not too heavy or big, and carbonation is pushing a little higher, kind of medium high, maybe a bit much there, but I think the second one we poured might be a little lower on carbonation.
Definitely, yeah. The first one had 2-3 inches of head. It was right up on top of our little tasters.
Yeah, 3 fingers.
It's barely got any foam.
Now we've got a little bit less. So that first, we judged it just before we came on the air. So
looking at Eric's Brewtoad sheet, this thing is 7.5%.
Okay.
ABV. Eric, what did you name this thing, by the way?
The official name of it is Sex Nap Porter.
I thought that was important to get out.
It was also served at my wedding, so it was the Peterson Porter at the wedding.
It'll never be the Peterson Porter. It'll always be Sex Nap. Anyway, I felt that was an appropriate part of the beer that really had to get out, Brian.
That's
Sorry,
lovely.
Go ahead, please.
It is very appropriate.
That makes me feel even better about the beer.
I'm feeling tired.
Yeah, there's in the mouthfeel you get a little alcohol. I'm getting tired. Little tingling in the back of the throat from but still it's somewhat creamy and not really astringent. It's just a smooth beer on the palate too, and I really like that. Although just the carbonation was a touch high in the first sample, but now it looks good. So really user friendly porter here.
Very much so.
What I look for in a wood aged beer is balance, and this has it. The wood, like I said, just kind of comes in underneath. Could even come up a little bit more, if anything. The porter could stand up to it, and it's a pretty big porter. It's bordering on imperial, I would say, but still works. You can call it a robust porter, and it's that's 7.5 is probably a little high for that, but you're right on the high end of it there. But it's able to stand up to everything else that's going on here. The chocolate, even it's declared, but it doesn't really come through intensely. It's just kind of underneath and supporting, but still everything's kind of working harmoniously together. maybe, if there's a way to dial up that chocolate flavor, get a few more vanillas in there, and dial back the ABV just a touch. I think this is a fabulous beer, and you could keep making it, and tweak it even a little more. But I gave it a 39. So tasty stuff. Thank you.
Cool.
Wow. Good score. Yeah, that aroma, man. Can't get over that.
And there were, I may not have mentioned, but there were vanilla beans also added to this beer.
Wow.
Post fermentation, pre oak aging.
Yeah, there is some of that vanilla character in the flavor there for sure.
So it's the bean cheat, the wood age beer, huh? Get that vanilla in by other means.
Exactly.
Hey, it works. It's good balance. So, a question for you: on your wood chips, how long did you keep them in the beer?
I believe this would have been between, probably, since I used chips, it was probably 3 weeks at max.
3 weeks. Okay. And how many chips per what volume?
Per 5 gallons, it was probably maybe just over 1 ounce, 1.2 maybe.
Okay.
Maybe 1.5, but no more than that.
For 10 gallons, you said?
Per 5.
Per 5.
Per 5, yeah.
Oh, per 5, okay.
Right. Interesting. An ounce, 5 gallons, for about 3 weeks. All right. I'm making notes here to get posted up on the old Brew Toad site for this thing. Brian was right. Balance is the key in this beer. You really managed to hit it pretty well. I think the carbonation difference between the two bottles is kind of interesting. It definitely brings out different flavors. And the bottle we judged before the show was very, very gassy bottle. It really brought out certain flavors. This one, honestly, seems almost a darker, more licorice-y kind of a beer than the other one did. But other than that, it still has kind of a similar flavor profile, same flavor profile. But it's interesting how the less carbonation is bringing out kind of a slightly different flavor set. Really good balance. Had a lot of nice cocoa flavors in there, along with a porter sort of darker caramel and some roast flavors. The wood flavors and aromas I thought were very nice. Definitely some of that kind of woody, lignin-y kind of flavor you get in most wood beers. We also had some nice wood sugar in it, that kind of flavor, which is really good, and not everybody gets in their wood-aged beers. So good job on that. Very clean. A little bit of sort of a berry and orange ester in there I got. No hops detected pretty much anywhere. It's just enough bittering to make it balance. Was very nice on that. The wood flavoring was a good balance with the cocoa that you added in there. I mean, honestly, the chocolate, I couldn't necessarily tell whether it was chocolate malt or added cocoa, although it seemed very much like a clean chocolate flavor like you'd expect from a cocoa. With the balance came in at about the same intensity as you'll get for chocolate malts and a lot of porter. So I think the whole sort of three-way balance you had going there was a really good job. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of curious why the carbonation is so different in this bottle than the other one. Were they bottle conditioned?
They were not bottle conditioned.
Oh, so these are bottle fills
from the keg.
Okay, yeah, that can be a little tricky to get done right, bottle to bottle consistently.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were all bottled. Let's see, this would have been sometime in February last year, or not last year, but earlier this year. So they've been in the bottle.
Same thing.
Yeah, exactly. For quite a while, hanging out.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So I mean, actually, in a way, that takes away the main point of feedback I had, which was to throttle back on the carbonation a bit.
But now we get to taste it that way.
Now we get to taste it that way too. I should get the other bottle up here and just blend them. What else did I find in here that I thought was worth commenting on? I think the roast character, there was a little bit of a darker roast character in here, which was very appropriate to the robust porter. It had a little bit of a chili pepper edge to it, which I get. It's like a jalapeno edge that I get in a lot of beers that use roast. And I don't know where it comes from. I'm kind of guessing at certain vendors of the stuff, but I don't know. You might want to try a different vendor next time you do this. See if you can pick it up at all. Once if you can, knowing that if you focus on it, if you can find it, maybe try a different one, see if that's any different. Other than that, I just thought this was a great three-way balance. It's a very nice beer. Drinks easily, not overwhelming flavors from any of the things. It's not like I feel like I've been hitting in the mouth with a 2x4 here. I gave it a 38 points. I thought it was wonderful. Excellent beer.
Wow.
Cool.
Nice job. Yeah, I really liked it too. I would even say get rid of those chips, man. Go oak cubes.
Yeah, I
Cubes for longer, for like a month and a half.
I prefer the cubes. I just somehow, couldn't get my hands on them. It's like, oh shit, I need to oak age this beer today.
Well, that'll happen. I like chips for fermenting, but for aging, cubes, man.
Yeah, but sometimes time is of the essence. You always have to take that nap.
Right. There's always needs to be the sex nap.
Right.
For sure. Eric, do you have any questions for the guys?
I don't. I just had my last bottle of this beer not too long ago, and I was picking up on the same kind of carbonation notes that was a little bit adding to the stringency at first, but slowly fading. I guess that must have just picked up a little bit more over time with kind of a high carbonation at bottling or something.
We're drinking the last bottles, huh?
Yeah, it's hard to say. The first bottle was really gassy, and the second bottle is more, I would say, British levels at best of carbonation here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we talk about your chocolate process a little bit? What did you do with the chocolate? What kind of chocolate?
Chocolate's all chocolate malt.
Okay.
In the original recipe, I think Denny Kahn just specified a one base, 350 chocolate malt. I have tended to split my chocolate malts out to about, 4% of a chocolate 350 and 3.5% of a pale chocolate 200.
I really like blending those two. That's a fun way to go. You get a broader spectrum of the chocolate flavors that way. It does almost taste like just an American kind of bittersweet chocolate bar. It's nice.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I always go with the pale,
but no cocoa
blending,
nibs used in this beer.
No nibs. Good. Those are for suckers anyway.
So what did you put in for chocolate then?
Just malt, right?
Just the malt.
Just the chocolate malt.
Just the malt.
Yeah.
Oh, so that oak aged chocolate character is just all chocolate malt.
And that's what that blend will get you, Brian, is that kind of the bitter edge of the higher roasted chocolate malts?
Yeah, I think you get the nice warm notes of a sweet chocolate with the more bitter notes of a semi-sweet or more higher cocoa percentage chocolate in there. So it does kind of present itself as a richer chocolatiness, I think. Yeah, you can play around with that balance too, and you can do it all one way and all the other, and see what you get though, or
Or you can go for extreme imbalance.
Extreme imbalance. Well, now if Eric was to enter this in a competition, you guys gave him pretty high, 38s, I think, right? Both of you.
Yeah.
What could he do to bump his score up a little bit?
Consistency in the carbonation.
Yeah.
That would probably be the number one thing. For me, if you could figure out a way to bring out the sugar flavor and the wood a bit more than the lignans, that would, I think, improve it. It was the fact that it was there and easily detectable at all was kind of a win to begin with. But if you can bring that character out a little bit more,
how do you
that
do
would
that?
be good. Yeah, I'd love to know. My guess is my guess on that is maybe more chips for less time.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry, fewer chips for more time. The sugars, I think, last time I heard somebody who really knew talk about this, they said that those flavors come out later.
Mm-hmm.
You tend to get sort of the boardy, woody flavors of the first things out of wood when you soak it, and then the wood sugar kind of flavors and some of the other things, the vanillins and coconuts, those all come out a little bit later.
That's why I would do
don't want to
cubes.
overdo it on the lignany flavors. You probably want to put in fewer chips, but let them go for longer. But that's sort of based on this was Brian Thorson, who used to brew over at Drake's. He gave a talk over at the local club, the Doe's Club.
Okay,
I think before he decamped for Points Midwest and then South.
Right.
But that he was talking about his experiences with wood aging beers, barrel aging beers, and that's what he would pick up.
Okay, cool. Eric, does that help you out at all? for your next?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, it takes me back to, using, cubes preferably if oak aging a beer, because you're going to get most likely more of that depth that you're talking about.
Yeah, I think you can leave it in for longer and not get those woody characters so fast.
Yeah,
I think you get more spectrum of the flavors.
Yeah, I think given that you use chips, you got a really good job done here. Those do give you that. I mean, I swear, there's some wood-aged beers. It's given me like past memory flashbacks of being a beaver chewing down an ash tree by a creek, and it's just like, that's wood flavor. Yeah, not good. This was very nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. Well, Eric, thanks, man. We'll let you go.
All right, thanks, guys.
I'm sure you need a nap or two.
Cheers.
Right.
All right, man. Yeah, thanks for sending beer, and we'll get you a prize pack out from 5 Star, which last I heard was like a big 4-pounder of PBW and a big thing of Star Sand and some other odds and ends. So look forward to that in the next, month, whenever they give them your address.
Cool.
All right, buddy. Take it easy, man. Thanks again.
See you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Pleasant beer.
Yeah, that was
a good one.
Great.
Very nice.
All right, well, I think we're up for a break. How are you guys liking this Kolsch, by the way? We're drinking that Flat Tail Kolsch. Mm-hmm. They won the gold medal with at GABF, our little friends at Flat Tail. Pretty pleasant.
Yeah.
I mean, considering it's been sitting at room temp in the studio for a week.
Yeah, and it smells vaguely of your feet. Oh, no, that's just your feet.
That's just my feet.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's got a nice little bit of that kind of interesting ferment aroma you might get from a Kolsch, a little bit sulfury, a little bit. Yeah, it's not just smelling like a Pilsner. There's a lot going on.
It's got a bright appley ester in there. It's cool. Yeah,
I like it.
We should call the brewer and talk to them.
I think they did that last week.
Oh,
he's
Sunday,
probably,
right?
Yeah, he's probably drunk already.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we'll come back and we'll be on the phone with Josh, and Josh gave us an American Brown Ale, and we'll figure that out in a sec. Back after this.
Hey, dude, you know what beer this is?
Oh, no, all the labels are falling off.
Yeah, or the ink is run.
Well, if it's the pale ale, you're good, but stay away from the quote-unquote Belgian.
Oh, man, this guy needs to get some grog tags.
Grog tags are reusable, write-on, wipe-off, commercial-grade bottle labels for your brew. The guys at Grog Tag are homebrewers. They wanted great-looking, sturdy labels for your bottles, buckets, carboys, kegs, and growlers. They also wanted a label that not only looks good, but can be easily removed and reapplied during bottling without that nasty glue residue being left behind. No residue, water-resistant, and ice chest approved. Grog tags stay on in water or an ice chest, and they stay legible. Visit grogtag.com to customize your label or coaster from dozens of different templates for free and see how awesome your bottles can look.
Ugh, it's that pseudo-Belgian.
Yeah, we're getting him some grog tags, dude.
Grog Tag. At least your beer will look good. grogtag.com. Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Now count backwards from 100. 99, 98, that's it. 97, 96, 95.
Now back to Dr. Homebrew.
Another fantastic rejoinder from our good friend Pushy Jack.
Oh, yeah, that was my favorite part of it, getting my wisdom teeth pulled.
The countdown?
Yeah, after that it all sucked.
Yeah, I counted down about 3 numbers, and then I started hearing heavy metal, too.
These are going good, man. We need some fresh stuff. So I'll be able to rotate them. It'll be a whole thing. It'll be amazing, guys. Don't even worry about it. Mm-hmm. All right, on the Skype here, we should have Josh. And now that I know it's working, he can't screw with me. Josh, are you on the phone?
Hey, how you doing,
There
guys?
you are.
Hey, Josh.
Good, man. How you doing?
Awesome.
Yeah?
Thank you much.
Why? Why so awesome? Prove it.
Mainly because I screwed up the Intermountain time to Pacific time, so I thought I was on 2 hours ago, and I had a couple beers then.
Oh, so you're ready to talk.
Oh, heck yeah.
We'll get you talking about all sorts of stuff here. All right, so Josh, you sent us an American brown ale. What did you what did you want us to taste for that for you? What do you want to get out of that?
So it's actually the Janet's Brown recipe out of Brewing Classic Styles.
Never heard of it.
Oh, that explains.
Yeah, so unless Jay-Z and Tasty are full of shit, I'm thinking the recipe's pretty solid, and I'm probably looking for process.
Okay, process recommendations?
Yep.
Okay. How long have you been homebrewing?
4 years now.
Wow. That's a long time. Have you done this before? Have you done the Janet's Brown clone before?
I've done it 2 or 3 times now, and I found it probably does a little bit better with a bit of aging for me to kind of mellow it out a bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll let the guys be the judge. All right, Lee. What do you got here,
What
man?
have I got? I've got an empty glass.
Oh,
I guess I'm moving slowly. Brian, you want to help me out with this here? Oh, what do I get? But actually, I have notes, so I don't need that. I don't. I can talk without having to have the thing in front of me. But what do we got? Oh, that beer. Yes. All right. Piney aroma. Little bit of. I thought a little bit of a cidery note almost when I first got it, but it was hard to say for sure. But it was there. So this beer pours a huge head. I don't know if the camera's working on the net today.
It sure is.
And poured even more the first time we did this, and it didn't go away for a long time. So this was a big, gassy, carbonated beer. Well, that's gonna. I saw this recent thing where there's sort of a stand and a lens you could add on for like an iPhone to make it into a microscope. I thought that would be kind of cool. But
that would be neat.
I suspect this thing's probably got about a 10-inch focal length, right?
This is
Anyways,
three
big head.
fingers.
It made it hard to get anything about hops and a little bit of a cidery note.
That's what happens when you get nerds into a room with technology and beer.
Right. And then they give them a camera to point at each other. But we're here to talk about the beer. Once I got past sort of the big off-gassing from the head, low kind of brown malt aroma, hint of caramel, Alta style pretty much. I thought maybe there was a little bit of a vegetal note in there, but I think it's not like an infection thing. I think it's something else we'll get to in a minute. Pours that huge head, fine bubbles, very persistent head. It's actually a very pretty beer. Nice deep brown color, good clarity, big piney resiny hop flavor. Sweet caramel, cocoa malt. Interesting. I'm almost getting a bit of root beer this time around. That's probably the hops. Kind of a citrusy, very piney hop. Maybe a little bit of a berry ester under there. Hard to tell. It's so hoppy. Balance towards the malt's a bit bigger in this beer. It was fairly sweet. It was enough to balance a fairly substantial bittering, but it still would finish sweet. A little bit of some bitter, some caramel, and almost, I think where that vegetal thing I hinted to was a bit warty. I thought it was perhaps a touch under-fermented. It's very noticeable alcohol flavor. What's the ABV on this puppy?
I believe just shy of 7.
Just shy of 7. Yeah, that sounds like something these guys would put together, huh?
What did it finish at, Josh?
10-16.
What is that? What the target is for the recipe?
It's 10-15, so just a bit high.
An extra point. Damn it. All right. No, medium body, leaves a little bit of stickiness behind and almost a touch of slick on the palate. It may have had a whisper of diacetyl. I wasn't really sure. CO2 is very high. Alcohol warmth is substantial and clean. No astringency. It's not really creamy as much as coating, although maybe that's kind of splitting hairs, but it left a little bit of a sweet and slick behind. I thought it was a pretty good example of the brown ale style by the numbers. Very hop forward, very bitter. The sweetness seemed a little bit much for me in that first bottle of the beer. It's almost seeming a little less here, but it's pretty similar, really. Enough so that I was wondering if it was perhaps a touch under-fermented. It was very rich in caramel, but I think if it was a little bit less sweet, it might have balanced out better, and not have given that set kind of sugary, sticky finish to it. So I was figuring maybe using fairly to really nail it right, get a fairly caramel forward recipe, 10 to 15% crystal probably, which is what you probably did for this, and ensure a really complete ferment. Use a really good pitch of healthy yeast, proper oxygenation. Maybe even use a bit of a temperature bump near the end, and I'm just waiting for you to tell me that's exactly what you did. So the last time I gave somebody fermentation advice, they pretty much did exactly what we said they should do when they got back to it later. Basically, just ensure all the sugars are fermented. Maybe take the mash temp down a step if you think you need to, but mostly I was thinking it was not quite complete ferment, given by the slightly, to me, a little bit warty character of it, and also the fact that was really overcarbonated. It's a bottle-conditioned beer. So I was figuring there may still be a little more residual sugar in here than you planned when you bottle-conditioned it, and that's why it's getting so gassy. That's kind of an indicator of that. Be careful of that. If it gets too much more carbonated, you could have some interesting bottle behavior on your hands.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think the vegetal I was alluding to is probably just sweetness and maybe just like a threshold diacetyl, maybe a bit of a grass to the hop note. It's not really something I pick up very much of. I think it's more just an indicator that it is not it's about a 90, 97, 98% fermented beer. Still got a few more percent to go. Other than that, good malt flavors, good hop flavors. I like that. The balance was good. It's basically seen by a good recipe. It's very interesting that you basically told us what you wanted to get out of this, and that's pretty much what we have in our score sheets.
A lot about process.
So, yeah, it's all about process. Okay, Brian?
Very good.
I thought the aroma on this beer was really inviting, despite, like Lee said, it having a pretty substantial head pushing out a lot of different things. But it presented a nice kind of grapefruit-like citrusiness in the hops at first, and a little perfumey also, but pretty high level. It's definitely, I'm smelling this thinking this is one of the more hop balanced brown ales, like AKA Janet's Brown. But yeah, there's other ones that are more malt forward, and there's kind of a few different ways you can present this beer. So it has some room for flexibility and having fun with it. And it did have underneath that some nice chocolatey malt and a little bit of caramelly in there. Had a hint of a little kind of cold coffee note. The malt was not too intense, but it was pleasant. And the esters are kind of a little bit sharp, kind of appley, and almost like a sour apple note. But it doesn't have any real sourness in it, and pretty high kind of fruity esters. But there was some alcohol apparent in there too, in the aroma and in the flavor when I got to that. Just a little bit, kind of a murky brown, not really hazy, but it's not perfectly clear either. It's just a kind of a slightly hazy brown, medium brown color. Had a big light tan head that stuck around really well, and in the flavor, the malt backbone is there. It definitely has some chocolate and a little bit of, some carameliness and a little bit of almost toastiness in there. But it quickly gets overpowered by the hop stuff here. There's the bitterness was up on the high end for the style. I think it gives kind of a bittersweet chocolate impression, but it's combined with the medium sweet finish. It has that. Things are kind of fighting in there a little bit. The hop flavors get a bit muddled, but they're still overall kind of citrusy. So in the flavor, I wasn't as happy as I was with the aroma. I was getting this, the nice citrusiness in the aroma, and it was promising. Some kind of elements fighting with each other in the flavor here, but mouthfeel wise, there was a little bit of some hop derived astringency perhaps in there, but a little bit of warmth could be big, a little bit big for the style, and the carbonation was really high. So I knocked it down a little bit there in mouthfeel, but it still has kind of a rich presentation in the on the palate, and I still liked it okay there. So it seems like a big American brown ale, hop forward and aggressive. The hops kind of pummel the malt flavor a little bit here, and the carbon dioxide is just driving off a lot of different flavors, and it's pushing everything at you all at once, and it's just a little, it's a little intense altogether. And a little bit muddled in that way. But still the flavors that are there are pretty good. I would say just process wise, I would be careful when you're doing your sparge and things, to make sure you avoid any astringency by keeping your water below like pH 6 with your sparge water, and not pulling off last runnings past like 1009, 1008 or thereabouts.
I've never done that.
Yeah,
I've
monitor
never done
that
it.
stuff. Yeah.
Why your beer is.
That's why my beer's not that great. Yeah, I've been like you hear it all the time. Well, I know I said it, but yeah, I mean, you hear it over and over and over again for however many years I've been brewing, and I've never done it, and that's probably one of the last things I have to do. That and water adjustments.
With a beer like this, there's enough acidity in the malt that you're a little safer. I mean, if you're making I made a smash beer last weekend, and I had to be really careful about that kind of stuff and make sure, use some gypsum in the mash to keep get enough calcium in there. Anyway, why am I talking about my beer? Acidify the sparge water. There's a lot of things you can do to make a smoother impression with a beer. And just, I don't know what your water's like. We can talk about that too. But, pulling back the carbonation would really help this beer. I'd pull back the bitterness a bit. And that'll help keep it balanced and kind of avoid a little bit of the harshness and muddledness that I was getting in there. But overall, it's a well brewed beer. It just needs a little work in a couple areas, and Lee covered a lot of that already. And but it's tasty. What'd
you give it?
I gave it a 31.
Yeah, we both gave it a 31.
Nice. Well, you guys are both on point today.
Yeah, so it's a good beer. It's a good beer. A couple little process improvements could help it, I think.
Now, Josh, you wanted to know how it also compared to the original, correct?
Of course. It's a classic.
Is it? You've never had it before.
Well,
I feel like if it's a classic, it's everywhere.
About it for years.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, I'll save the guys some speechifying. I've had it a few times. I actually think that beer is too sweet. Not yours, but the original. I find it very overwhelmingly kind of sweet, and I actually prefer yours a little bit. It's a little bit on the drier side, I think, than the original.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I'm finding this bottle to be drier than the other one that we had downstairs, which is actually the other one's still down there if we want to do a side by side.
Yeah, might as well.
Because which is a possibility if it's a bottle condition. If it went into the bottle a little bit under fermented, and some bottles went faster than others, I could I'm theorizing that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, how did your ferment go with this?
It was actually a super aggressive ferment. I used WLP 90, the San Diego Super that I had washed and repitched.
Mm-hmm.
So I pitched, 4 or 6 ounces of freshly harvested yeast that had been washed. And
for how big a batch?
One carboy went off, blow off tube, made a huge mess in the fermentation chamber, of course. And the other one had a little bit more headspace and didn't, blow the lid off. Right. But so pretty aggressive ferment, but otherwise it went well. The carbonation, I normally keg, but knowing that I was going to send this one in, I racked off 4 bombers worth and used the carbonation drops. Those little sugar pellets where you put 2 in a bomber?
Yeah.
And so maybe that was part of the problem, and that just ended up with the overcarbonation, the 2 drops.
It's possible. I personally have no real experience using those myself.
I've used those before, and it's funny because you're supposed to use 1 in a 12 ounce, and then you use 2 in a bomber, but the bomber is 22 ounces, so it's less. It's not double the beer, but it's double the carbonation drops that they recommend there. So it would push it up a little higher. Sometimes, yeah.
Well, and if there's a little bit of residual sugar left, that will push it up higher still.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, it sounds like from what you're describing with a ferment, we're kind of thinking it should have finished out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's just a really sweet recipe. Sweeter
I think
than
that's
would
what
like.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, tasting the original, I mean, whenever Tasty brings it in, it for me, it's very sweet. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I guess makes sense because he packs it with a lot of hops, but...
and then, mash at 154, it says. Did you hit the 154?
You know, I Herms up, and I kind of wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
So it got a bit hotter than that.
Okay.
Because
Sounds
just
dirty.
manual control on... I just have a copper coil going through my hot liquor tank.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't quite paying attention through that whole phase.
So that could lead to a little more dexterous wort to going into the fermenters. But, I mean, it sounds like you pitched plenty of happy yeast and you did everything right there. So, it could have just been the high mash temp.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying the first bottle right now.
Well, hopefully this one isn't as fizzy as the last. Or as
They're
sweet.
both fizzy, but this is sweeter.
Yeah.
Oh, nuts.
So we'll teach you how to bottle off a keg.
It is sweeter.
Yeah, isn't it? It's got this kind of malto meal maltiness to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a little bit under fermented. Do you have any idea if these two both came from the same fermenter or different fermenter? Do you lose track of that which one went to what bottle probably?
No, they should have both gone or come from the same fermenter.
All right. Huh, interesting.
This one is it's a little more alcoholic to me, like up front. Kind of a hotter, sweeter alcohol thing.
Yeah, I
Maybe
noticed
it's a little
that
warmer,
too, just in my tastings, that there was a clear presence of alcohol. Again, it wasn't the super hot alcohol, but it was definitely there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
warming.
Yes, it's definitely warming and substantial alcohol. Pretty clean, but
Yeah.
it's sweet and alcoholic.
Yeah.
Well, I prefer
And
yours,
bitter and hoppy.
Josh. I'm not going to lie.
Well, thank you.
Very welcome. Do you have any questions for the guys?
No, I think that covered everything. Appreciate it.
All right.
Cool.
Was there any other process you were thinking about that we didn't talk about?
No, you guys picked up on the two things. I was a little worried about using those carbonation drops, just with the National Homebrew competition, got to start thinking about that.
Yeah.
But, I
Hell
don't
yeah.
know that I have a whole lot of faith in those carb drops.
Sometimes you can, if you get a little pot of boiling water going. I'm paranoid as hell, and I get a little boiling water going on my stove. I'll put them in a spoon and I'll dip it in the hot water just to get anything off. I mean, because it's just like, well, grab one of these things and put it in your beer. I'm not going to touch this thing and put it in my beer.
Yeah, you don't know how it was packaged.
If I was wearing gloves and sanitized, then maybe. But I mean, it's sitting in this bag that's been open for 3 months. I used one 2 months ago. I don't know. I mean, I probably still have some in my garage somewhere. I don't use them anymore.
Yeah, carbonation is kind of an underappreciated art in the world of homebrewing. It's hard to get it really right sometimes. I mean,
Yeah.
the 3/4 cup and 5 gallons of something that's totally fermented out will generally give you decent, U.S. style carbonation levels, but really tweaking it can be a little tougher than you might think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it's a good beer.
I would also say use the very freshest hops you can get. The hop flavor, the hop aroma was pretty nice, and the hop flavor was could have used a little more fresh hop character in there. I think with that for the style you're going for, but I don't know how old the hops were, how you store your hops, if you vacuum seal them in your freezer, or if you just got them fresh from the store and just used them right up. But anyway, yeah.
Sound good, Josh?
Good advice.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for sending the beer in, man. It was real good. I hope you got everything you were looking for.
I did. Thank you much.
Very drinkable.
Right,
I'm going to finish this sample.
All right, Josh. Take it easy, man. Thanks again.
Have a good night.
All right, buddy. You too.
Need another specimen of that brown ale, Dr. Brown? Dr. Brown? We get the cup ready for
I have 4 beers going here. I've got something from downstairs.
You need to drink real fast.
You got a tank farm.
I don't need time for a nap.
And then drive long distances.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take ourselves another break, and then when we come back, we're going to do our little final roundup and some cool announcements of some cool things we got going on future shows. So stay tuned. It's Dr. Homebrew.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f***
off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states, plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small, single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere. Holy shit! NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wished I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Games.
Hey, Wooly, I'm beat. Can we find a nice tree to just hang out in for a while?
You're beat. I've been swinging through this forest for 50 years, ever since we first escaped from the circus. I know, but there's got to be more to life than exploring this creek and trying to populate the valley by copulating with loose, hairy girls.
Marquis, stop.
Look!
What is that?
It looks like a man-made treehouse.
With fresh food.
And craft beer.
Welcome to the Creek Monkey Tap House, boys. Grab a seat. Creek Monkeys drink free.
Awesome!
The Creek Monkey Tap House in Martinez, California takes their mission of fresh food and beer seriously. They only serve locally raised beef and chicken, as well as local sustainable produce. It's better for you and the planet, and it just tastes better. The beer and wine at Creek Monkey Tap House are chosen with the same care for the highest quality and rotate frequently to make each visit an adventure. Swing on into the Creek Monkey Tap House and enjoy a new legend of amazing food, beer, and wine. The Creek Monkey Tap House, online at creekmonkey.com.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right, we're back, everybody. It's Dr. Homebrew. Don't worry, we're never going to pour you out. That nurse has been fired. Because the thing said pour you. What do you guys think of the new rejoinder? It's pretty good, huh? Pretty classy?
Classy? Yeah.
Classy, sassy?
I missed the last one, actually.
Oh, that's all right. The one that just played?
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't need to play it again.
I'm not going to.
Enough, right? Never again.
Yeah, we'll hear it in about, an hour.
Right.
When we do the second show. So, all right. Excuse me. Chugging that last beer. So we're now we traditionally kind of go through the beers that we tried from Eric and Josh and just kind of recap the stuff that we talked about. So Eric's beer was pretty much leave it alone, right? I mean, there's a little bit of he admitted the fact that he prefers oak cubes rather than chips.
That's the porter.
So that could help out. That's the chocolate porter. So that'll help out his kind of oak flavors. He knew the carbonation was kind of wonked out, but he seems to really like the beer where it is.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool and bold that he declared chocolate in it, even though there's no chocolate. It's all chocolate malt.
Yeah, now in my oatmeal stout, I use pale chocolate, and that's it. And you can kind of taste a little bit of chocolate, but I would never have even thought to declare it as an ingredient. I mean, in order to do that, when you enter a competition, if you declare chocolate is in there, it has to be in there and be perceived as chocolate, right? Not pseudo chocolate or whatever.
Well, it does get perceived as chocolate. You're right. It is a bold is a kind word for it, but yes.
Yeah. Well, it's Brian. Brian was being kind.
It did work. I saw the word chocolate. And I went and looked for chocolate, and damn it, I found chocolate flavor, and it balanced out very nicely. Thank you. But yeah, he did add no chocolate, so he pulled a fast one on us there.
He slipped one by the goalie. All right, and then Josh with his American Brown Ale.
Yeah, it's nice to taste different people's interpretations of the tasty brown, and everybody has a different take on it. I made one with rye once. That was fun.
Yeah,
rye with rye chocolate rye malt. Anyway, yeah, this one was nice. It had a really inviting aroma. Some things got a little muddled in the flavor with the high carbonation and fighting a little bit with the bitterness and some of the other things going on in there. But overall, it was a pretty nice, hop balanced American Brown Ale.
Yeah, I thought so too, Lee.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a good recipe. To my mind, it was basically just a little bit on the sweet side and definitely overcarbonated.
Mm-hmm.
Fix those two things, I think it'd be wonderful.
It'd be pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good recipe.
So
good beer.
Yeah, thanks guys again. And like I said to Eric, but not to Josh, 5-star will be sending you guys a nice little prize pack. They're very kind enough to give everybody on Dr. Homebrew a nice little gift. So if you want to have a nice little gift from 5-star and some Master BJCP Judge feedback, email me at jp@thebringnetwork.com, and I will put you on my list. I will not forget about you. You will email me, and then a month will go by, and you're like, who the fuck does this to people? I do, and it's me, and it's the only way I can keep anything straight because I'm very unorganized. So email me. I'll have your email, and then as we need people for shows, I will be contacting you, and then you'll be sending your beer in, and you will be talking to us live. Oh, my God, it's so great. The best part is, of course, you get to get that 5-star pack. So thanks to 5starchemicals.com for that.
Forget the feedback.
Forget the feedback.
Forget JP's colorful commentary. It's the 5-star stuff.
You get free stuff.
That's what it's all about.
You get free stuff and fame and glory on brewtoad.com/Dr. Homebrew.
So what's new on Dr. Homebrew?
Well, what's new on Dr. Homebrew is something that the guys have been talking to me for a while about, and that is a commercial tasting calibration. Right, Lee? You're the one. This is kind of your brainchild, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you stand up and take credit for it?
All right, I'll take credit for it. I'll take the hits for this one. So what is this all about? We're going to let you do what we do along with us. So most of these shows, we sit here and we taste over someone's beer, and really the only other person besides those of us in the room who can sit there with beer and think about what's going on and taste the thing at the same time with us is the guy who made the beer,
right,
or the girl who made the beer, and maybe a couple of their buddies who might have a bottle, and the rest of the audience is hopefully learning something, but they don't have that beer. So what we're going to do on this next show is we're going to get a commercial beer, something that's widely available, and we're going to let you know what that beer is, and you can have a bottle of it available when we do the show and taste it alongside with us and compare notes so that you can see what's in there and maybe learn a little bit about this, and we can all enjoy a good beer while we're doing that in the process.
That's right.
Essentially, it is a little bit of sort of basic palate training, aroma, sensory instruction, all those good things rolled into one. A little bit of stylistic analysis on the beer.
Like aromatherapy?
Aromatherapy, right. I think that's not going to be enough to help you, JP. But that's what it's all about here. Yeah,
this will be appearing a couple shows down the road. Or we're
going to be recording December 17th. So if you want to listen live and do that whole thing on the 7:30 show, it'll be December 17th.
That's a Tuesday, right?
That is a Tuesday.
We have to change our dates due to holiday.
That's correct.
Interferences.
Can we have call-ins?
We may be able to have call-ins. I don't know. We'll see. Lee and I were talking a little bit about it, and we could have call-ins if we don't do a homebrew as well. Mm-hmm. I think, but I don't know. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how many people in the chat, and if they have any questions or want to comment on it.
JP's in a magnanimous mood on
right. Well, yeah, sure.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah. So we'll be doing this at the 7:30 show
at the 7:30 show,
and it goes in the podcast list. The first show in January.
It should be the first Thursday in January, because our posting is the first and the third Thursdays, and we record the shows live on the third Thursdays.
Right. Okay.
So it should be. I might be out of town on that the first Thursday, but it doesn't matter.
The podcast goes up anyway.
Right. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Automation.
The flag flies without you.
Right.
Technology.
Yes.
That's right.
Well, it's really Justin posting it, but
right.
What are you going to do?
Justin is our technology.
Yeah.
There you go.
All
right.
Yeah. So, what's the beer?
Okay, the beer. We said we get something pretty widely available, so we're going for something widely available and hopefully good, although you never know. It could be variable. The beer will be Chimay Grand Reserve, the blue label bottle. Get the cork finish, not the little six-pack, stubbies.
Why?
I think that's more true to the style that this beer was intended to be made as.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Of course, it might exhibit a little bit more variation, bottle to bottle. And then when we're done with the show, you'll have a lot more beer to drink.
Does the cork really do that much? The cork finish bottles, can it really make the beer vary the things?
It can make the things, yes.
Okay, all right.
It does.
Yeah.
It really, in fact, it makes so many things.
It makes a lot of things.
It's really hard to define all the things. It can do things in two different. It can do good things, and like it might let a little bit of slow aging going on, which you don't get through a glass and crown cap.
Okay.
And it might do bad things if the damn distributor let the case of beer stand upright for 6 months.
I don't think it's necessarily just the cork either. I think definitely that beer. The larger the container you're storing it in, it keeps better and it ages more nicely. And a beer in a 22-ounce bottle from the same batch versus a 12-ounce bottle will taste, slightly different after a couple months of tasting it. Or out of a keg, it's just
bottle variance.
It's other things. Yes.
The temperature, stays more consistent in the middle of the beer, and it just stays happier in those big thick bottles as opposed to the little 12-ounces.
All the things.
I think that's my personal theory.
And there's other things, like it's more beer in the bottle. But
more beer in the bottle.
Right,
yeah.
that makes you happy.
All right.
And that bigger bottles might be subject to slightly less temperature fluctuation just because they have more mass. But you never know. It's all crowded in a case. It may not make much difference. Anyways, that is the beer we will be doing. So get yourself a bottle if you're interested and have it ready when we do the broadcast or whenever you feel like it when the podcast is.
There you go. So it's Chimay Blue label, the Chimay Grand Reserve.
That's it.
What is that style?
That is a Belgian dark strong ale.
Oh.
Or strong dark. I always get the words reversed.
Yeah. You should
It's the
also
same thing.
download the BJCP style guidelines on your smart apparatus and look up that beer.
Yeah, it'll tell you what it's supposed to be like. We'll be talking about that a bit, too.
This is what it should be like. This is what you should be tasting. Great. Well, I can't wait for it. It'll be a first kind of a new segment on Dr. Homebrew. It'll be yet to be named. Hopefully we'll get a cool little audio thing for it. And it'll be a whole bit. It'll be really cool, and you guys will get a lot out of it, and we'll get a lot out of it, and we'll all get a lot out of it together. It'll be like chat roulette, but podcast style. All right, well, what do you think, guys? You want to get out of here?
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere.
Well, we're not going
go
anywhere.
downstairs and leave.
You guys are just going to walk out on me.
That's right.
You would.
Right.
He told us, let's get out of here.
Right.
There you go. Belgian Dark Strong.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks again for joining us on Dr. Homebrew. Thanks to Josh and thanks to Eric for sending in beers. You guys are going to get a nice little price pack from 5 Star. And speaking of 5 Star, thank you very much, people at 5 Star Chemicals. You go to 5starchemicals.com. They have everything you need to make great beer. They have the cleaning stuff. They have the sanitation stuff. They have little equipment, little gloves and aprons and boots and all that kind of stuff so you can dress up like a real brewer and protect yourself. That's the main thing. Safety is key with working with chemicals. And brewtoad.com/Dr. Homebrew. You want to check out these recipes that you've heard about just now from the brewers themselves. Head on to 5 Star. Wow. Brewtoad.com/Dr. Homebrew. They have all the shows there, all our past shows as well, all the BJCP score sheets, and the recipes linked right there for your watching pleasure. For your eyeballs to get a little love, everybody. Brewtoad.com/Dr. Homebrew. Thanks for everybody hanging out in the chat. Thanks to Spider Wrangler. He's here like every friggin' live show that we do. So, Spider, you're the best, man. And we'll see you guys on the other side. It's Dr. Homebrew. Thanks a lot.